Italy remains under a nationwide lockdown, and the effects of social distancing are plain to see. Rome's Piazza del Popolo, the People's Square, all but deserted. Empty canals also in Venice. Normally overrun by tourists, the streets of Venice are now being decontaminated. In Bulgaria, as elsewhere, people are lining up to stock up on supplies should they have to isolate themselves. But in many supermarkets, shelves are bare. In Spain, the government is set to declare a 2-week state of emergency and announce increased measures to control the COVID-19 outbreak. Already, famous tourist sites like Barcelona's landmark Sagrada Familia Basilica have been closed off. France has also ordered closures of cultural and tourist attractions. Both the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre Museum are closed to the public. But for the city's few remaining tourists, at least one typical Parisian attraction remained open. The Moulin Rouge was open for business Friday night, but only to celebrate its last night before 2 closing its doors.
We know that from Monday schools will be closed, so we'll stay at home. I have 3 children, so I'll work from home starting Monday, I think. Tonight we'll have a good night because it's the last.
Germany is also ramping up its defenses, closing schools and many public facilities. And as of Tuesday, Berlin's world-famous nightlife will grind to a halt, as bars and clubs will also be closed. Many of the clubs don't know how they're going to survive the loss of business the closures will bring.
We've never experienced such a big threat to the cultural scene. It's possible that by the end of this crisis, a large part of the culture for which Berlin is known, and thanks to which many people feel good in Berlin, will disappear.
While many of Europe's main cultural attractions are funded by taxpayer money, Berlin's clubs are funded by their patrons, who are now staying at home.
All right, joining me now in studio, Alima Hotaki from DW Sports to look at how this pandemic is affecting the sports world. Starting here in Germany, the Bundesliga finally deciding to suspend the season, but it took them a while to make that choice, right?
Yeah, it did. I think the German league, for the long time, they were just hoping that, hey, as long as no players affected, no coaches affected, then no harm. You know, they don't have the coronavirus, we can continue playing. And unfortunately, viruses don't work that way. And then of course, they were really keen on this idea of Geisterspiele, which we have
ghost
footage
games,
of that.
Yeah,
that is the literal translation of it, ghost games. And that's because you have stadiums without any spectators. And it does feel kind of eerie, a bit creepy even at times. And then what happened was that information emerged yesterday before Friday's Bundesliga game that perhaps one of the coaches, Paderborn's coach, was showing corona-like symptoms. And that's when the Bundesliga panicked and they decided to cancel the games. But at the same time, people also need to understand that that the coronavirus has really turned the football world upside down, really on its head. Because in order to plan next season, you really have to sort out this season. So things like relegation, promotion, the European places. So it's a real struggle for football right now, dealing with this.
I mean, given that struggle, how are players reacting? How are fans reacting to this decision?
That's actually one really nice positive. It's very refreshing. A lot of the fans, a lot of the players, they seem to be really accepting of it. They understand that football isn't everything, that it can be put on the back burner, and that right now the number one priority is people's well-being, and it's about containing this coronavirus.
Well, a lot of speculation as well about the fate of this year's Summer Olympics in Japan. Here's what the Japanese Prime Minister had to say on the topic earlier today.
We will continue to closely cooperate with IOC, and of course IOC is working closely with WHO. As for us, we would like to overcome the spread of the infection and hold the Olympics as planned.
Yeah, so for now, the Olympics going ahead as planned, according to Shinzo Abe. But I mean, so many major events announcing either cancellations or postponements. Really, the Olympics is starting to look like an outlier here.
It is, and I can't help but shake my head at what he just said. I mean, it seems to me that he's in a state of, that the Japanese government is almost in a state of denial, and there's also an element of wishful thinking. And I get it. From their perspective, obviously, the government pumped billions of dollars into these games, and if they lose them, if they're cancelled, then they will be in the minus. But at the same time, it's a huge risk hosting these games, allowing them, because you're putting lives at risk. You are asking hundreds and thousands of fans and athletes to come to Japan.
From literally around the world.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how disease spreads. That's how illnesses spread. That's exactly what happened with the coronavirus. So I don't think it's really a smart idea to put people's lives at risks. And there are right now also a lot of options, ideas emerging and everything. And one of them is, for example, just like we had with football, is that let's hold these events, let's have these Olympics, but behind closed doors. But of course, we also learned from the NBA and from football that athletes are not immune to the virus.
Doesn't always work.
Exactly, it can hit everybody. And then, of course, the one idea that the Tokyo organizers seem to be very open to right now is perhaps postponing it. But I would not rule out a cancellation, because it has happened before during World War II.
Of course, right. Well, these games scheduled to start in late July, at least for now. Alima Hotaki, DW Sports. Thank you.